we are going to talk about ratios. What's a ratio? Well, a ratio, R-A-T-I-O, is a comparison of two numbers with division. So very simply, it can be something like a fraction, like 3/4, 3 over 4. That would be comparing 3 to 4. It could be something that is a little more real world oriented, which is how I like to use ratios and how most people use them. And so what we've got is a table of data here. And in this data, we've got that a number of students were basically asked, and I'm going to make that students plural, so the number of students were asked what their favorite food is. 10 people said pizza, 8 said mac and cheese, which I abbreviated mac and cheese, fun way of saying it. 3 people said salads, and 6 people said steak. I'm asking you to write the ratio of students who prefer pizza to students who prefer steak in 3 different ways. So we're going to just basically go over how to communicate ratios in this video. Simple stuff. So how do we communicate the number of pizza lovers to the number of steak lovers? Well, there are 10 students who like pizza and 6 students who prefer steak, so we could write that in words. So way number 1 is we could say 10 to 6. Or 10 students prefer pizza to 6 students who prefer steak. So we could write it in words. This is a great way to write things down if you need a sentence as part of an answer or part of an explanation. Other than that, I go with the next 2 ways 9 times out of 10, which is a ratio. So we've got a ratio of 10 to 6. That's another way of doing a ratio, and that is with a colon, right? So 10 people like pizza to every 6 people that like steak. And last but certainly not least, you can use fraction notation, 10 to 6. This is the one that clearly shows out a comparison of 2 numbers using division. Now I need to point out one discrepancy, or one misconception, I should say, that a lot of people often have with ratios. 10 to 6, we're always saying that there's 10 parts of whatever we're measuring compared to 6 parts of something else. So, or it could be 10 parts to 6 parts of the same thing. You could have 10 of one pizza lover to 6 of another pizza lover. But the point is, it's 10 to 6. Now, what does that mean? That means that in total, there are 16 parts that have been asked the question. Right? That is very important. So I'm just going to leave that out there, that there's a total of 16 people involved in this survey. Extremely important. And so what I mean by that is, let's say that we flip this thing around, right? And I say, what's the comparison of the number of steak lovers to pizza lovers, which is 6 to 10. That does not mean that 6 out of every 10 people prefer steak. No. Remember, we're saying 6 steak compared to 10 pizza. Right? So that does not mean that 6 out of every 10 prefer pizza either. 6 people prefer steak for every 10 people that prefer pizza. All right, a big difference there that I thought to point out. I'm going to include in here a bonus clip, so if you want to stay tuned for a little extra practice, you'll have that. If not, and this is good enough for you to learn or relearn how to write ratios from situations, then awesome. If not, stick around. I got more for you in the next clip. As promised, here's your bonus clip. I'm going to make up a couple problems just verbally between you and moi, or me, and we'll just kind of convert a couple of ratios in a couple different ways from the information to, well, something nice and mathematical. So let's do it. Let's start out with a random ratio here. Let's say it's the ratio of those who prefer eating salad to those who prefer eating, well, let's do mac and cheese or mac and cheese. So salad to mac and cheese. So I'll write salad to mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. All right, or mac and cheese. Now, how many people prefer eating salad? 3. To how many people who prefer eating mac and cheese? To 8. So you could write it as 3 to 8, keeping in mind that there's a total of 11 people here, right? Total of 11 people who've been sampled between those 2 groups. You could also write that as 3 to 8 or 3 to 8. So again, I'm going to make that important discrepancy like I made earlier in the video. If you wanted to know the fraction out of all the mac and cheese and salad lovers who prefer salad, out of all of them, that would be 3 out of 11 total people. But comparing the salad lovers to the mac and cheese lovers directly, that is 3 to 8 or 3/8 measurement. Very cool stuff. Pretty simple. Little bonus material. Who doesn't love it?